your chance to know. Let me show you why. Let me show you why. Let me show you why. Let me show you why.
And our Constitution has been threatened. We are free Bahamians who have a right to stand, to walk, and to have our very own day in this island called Nassau, Bahamas. We are here this morning.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Tony Bahama, with our resident guest, Malik Adegamba, and this is the Humblest Opinion. Today on the Humblest Opinion, we have a very, very special guest here on our podcast, the DNA candidate for Golden Gates in the person of Lamont Nixon. The topic for the day, of course, or the question of the political glass ceiling in the Bahamas. Does it exist? Can it be attained? And of course, the DNA, which is the newest upstart party here in the Bahamas, in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Before we get into that, we do want to make sure and state, of course, our airtight disclaimer. First and foremost, the Humblest Opinion is brought to you by AB2C Broadcasting, B-Caribbean TV, and Professional Renaissance Protection Services. Just so you know, the Humblest Opinion is brought to you via an at-will clause. All ideas, opinions, thoughts, expressions, and disseminations of any ideas or platforms or verbiages that we have spoken or given on this platform are 100% free of libel and liability on the owners or any of the guests that are on our platform. So with that said, it is an at-will clause. If you don't like what we're saying, you don't want to hear what we're saying, please, you have the freedom to exercise your right to choose. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, just as an introduction, we want to talk a little bit about the process of what is, in quote unquote, democracy in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, or the Bahamas as it states. Just so you know, or for those of you that are not listening, that are not familiar with it, your listeners in the US and UK, wherever else, the history of the Bahamas has always been a primarily two-party race, with a heap of independents at a period of time that came together to form what was beforehand, which was the UBP, which was United Bahamian Party, but it was a group of, how should I put this, non-melanated individuals that came together to form the UBP. The UBP was then challenged, of course, by the Progressive Labour Party, or the PLP. The PLP, after winning 5 straight elections, did not feel a proper challenge or opposition by the UBP after they were run out of seats. They, in our opinion, formed a hybrid government or a hybrid party by taking the then chairman of the PLP, in the Hubert Alexander Ingram, and making him the leader of the revamped, in quotation marks, FNM. Since that time, we've had the DNA, the Democratic National Alliance, rise to the forefront, because us, just generally from canvassing our people want to change or want to give somebody else a chance to do this. We have on the show today, like I said, Democratic National Alliance candidate running in the seat, or running for the seat of Golden Gates, Mr. Lamont Nixon. Mr. Lamont Nixon, how are you today?
I'm doing good. How's everybody else?
Great. All right. The first thing that I'd like for us to do is get an introduction, Mr. Nixon. Let's know about you.
Well, as you already said, my name is Lamont Nixon. I'm running for the constituency of Golden Gates. One of my main platforms here in Golden Gates is to introduce basically networking it. So therefore, this is not just young people, but older people who are willing to focus on entrepreneurship, because based on what we have experienced with Dorian and COVID, we realized that the thing is we have to focus, expand our horizon basically, and go more into entrepreneurship. So that's one of my main things here in Golden Gate, and to create like a networking initiative for the people of Golden Gates and hopefully throughout the Bahamas, so that we can assist people just within the community to bring about more clientele. Yeah, that's more or less my platform here in Golden Gates.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about the party, or the Democratic National Alliance, please.
Well, as you guys know, it's and I don't like to call it the third party per se, because it makes us seem like we're less than, But the Democratic National Alliance, we are a viable option rather than choosing the PLP or the FNF. And the thing is, we come with not just a party figure or whatever, or like, in our opinion, like the other rest of at least both parties, they're just more management per se. But the Democratic National Alliance, we come with an actual vision for the country. And one of the main things, one of the main things that we're pushing is our introduction of the new economy. And we've color coded it as to where we have the orange economy, the blue economy, and the green economy. And the orange economy more so focus on the digital era, as to where the digital and cultural era, as to where we can assist Bahamians and new sorts of industries, as to where we could create our own the thing that they have in
Silicon Valley?
Our own Silicon Valley, things like that, and we create our own movie, start our own movie production, because the thing is, you have a lot of talented Bahamians, but they don't have no place to display their talent. So one of the things that the Democratic National Alliance want to focus on is creating entrepreneurs in those areas, because the thing is, what we realize and what COVID has exposed is we've been running on one cylinder for too long, which is tourism. And in order for the country to really flourish, we need to focus on other industries like manufacturing, focus on the blue economy, as to where we expand our fisheries, things like that. So and that's just from the economic standpoint. And the next thing, the next thing that the DNA is trying to introduce is I think you guys will like this. Our whole idea is to become fully independent, which we get rid of the monarch, which is the queen. And the reason, and so that's one of our main things, because the thing is, it's just like this. It's like you've been living in your mother's house for a certain amount of years, and after you've learned what you could learn from your mother, you want to expand. You want to become independent and do things not necessarily as you see fit, but but to expand as a human being. So it's the same thing as the Bahamas. We want to expand as a country. We don't want to always have to go to the Queen, to make decisions. Like I said, the main focus is to become a republic, and and basically revamp our whole government system, rather than, because the thing is, the way we've been doing things hasn't worked. If it did work, we wouldn't have been in the situation that we're in right now.
100%.
All right, so our thing is to like I said, become a full republic and work towards that. And it seems like because the thing is, we had an idea of independence. Like a shadow independence, because that's what us being under the Commonwealth is. Because if we were truly independent per se, we wouldn't have to go to the Privy Council to make, for the final decision.
Yeah, obviously we're not a sovereign nation, and Finland said it itself. He said that they're not after that. We're after self-governance, and that's what we were able to accomplish: self-governance,
Yes.
which is different from independence.
Right.
Yeah, we observed that. So we if you haven't been following our shows, for those of you that have, we discussed many of these issues. We discussed basically the farce that is Bahamian independence. You come out, you go to the tattoo, the governor general comes out, which is an oxymoron in itself. That this person, male or female, is representative of the Queen in England, and they're sitting at at the services on Bahamian soil, talking about independence. If there was a true independence, there would be no governor general. We would need for this individual, or so on and so forth. So we fully agree with the fact of independence, and then also on that same trajectory, we've looked around the Caribbean. We talked about that educationally on our last show, actually, that the countries that have found themselves and struck out towards independence in the Caribbean, namely Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, and so on and so forth, have seen a boom or upshoot in their economic processes. What many Bahamians and most people don't know is that when you are a commonwealth, when you are under these countries, you do have to pay money to these bigger governments, which England doesn't need Bahamian money. I think we all agreed on that point, eh?
Yeah, I can agree.
I agree.
Yeah, so on that same note, like we said, that if that's the priority, that's definitely one of the things we on this platform push. Question. My second question: is there a political glass ceiling in the Bahamas? We think you kind of alluded to it, but let's expound on it a little bit more for us.
Yes, there is a political glass ceiling, and the thing is, I actually was speaking on this yesterday, and you got to look at it from both angles as to where Bahamians, like in my walkabouts, you talk to certain Bahamians door to door, and their main thing is the PLP and the FNM, and that's been the forefront for so many years. It's not like you're going to be able to just take that out of Bahamians' minds. But the thing is, it's like you almost have to like push them in the area that the DNA is a viable option for governing this Bahamas and taking us into the future. And now the thing is, you do have some Bahamians, because of what certain PLP candidates within that party did for them, or FNM candidates within that party did for them. They are loyal to the team, as to where, even if that candidate isn't there anymore, they're still loyal to the brand of the party. So so what the issue is now is us, showing us unveiling the fact that what you're voting for is a brand. You're voting for the PLP brand and the FNM brand, but everything it isn't the same Finland PLP party or the same Cuban Ingram FNM party. It's they're just using the same brand, but it's different people. And the thing is, a lot of the some of the candidates within the DNA, I wouldn't say. I mean, you have one or two that actually came from the PLP, but they could no longer stay with the PLP because the values change. And then you had you have some from BDM. So therefore you still have people who are experienced in the political arena within the DNA. But the thing is, what people are looking at is the brand. It's almost like and I know you guys know some people who, like back in the day, they were focused on one brand. Like some people like Polo, or some people like Nike, and they would only buy that.
Right.
But what regardless, and the thing is, they would continue to buy those brands even if the quality decreases. And that is what's happening here, as to where we continue to buy the PLP and the FNM brand, even though the quality is decreasing.
Well, in my humblest opinion, we utilize the word here often, indoctrination, and that's basically what it
Mm-hmm.
is. The country has been indoctrinated in many areas, and politics is one of those huge areas of
Right.
indoctrination, and that is
Mm-hmm.
something that we really need to come out of. You spoke about being inside your mother's house and getting to a point where you need to step out, which I agree with
Right.
100%. And our Bahamian people need to develop that mindset because here's the problem: if mommy controls everything, only her ways are
Mm-hmm.
going to stand within that house. That does not mean that her ways are bad or her mindset is a bad one. It just may mean that it's outdated. So now,
Exactly.
when you look to the future of certain investments, she may not be interested because she doesn't understand where it can take us. When you're speaking about having a Silicon Valley in this country, that would be astronomical. When you're speaking
Right.
about taking and this is something, if we were truly about the benefit of our country as a whole and as our people, we would have been doing this many, many years ago. And that's investing in the people. So you have the individuals who have the talent to take the country forward. So we're talking about within the anywhere within the entertainment industry, within sports,
Right.
within culture. We
Mm-hmm.
have the people who possess those skills, but they don't have the forum, they don't have the platform. So because they don't have that, that knowledge sometimes dies with them when they could have been
Right.
passing that on to people and we could become a particular hub. Why is it that we live in a country where the only thing you're coming for is to go swim on a beach when you could go swim on a beach in Cuba? You could go swim on a beach in Jamaica. You could go swim on a beach in Colombia if that's what you really want to do. So we're not the only country with sun, sand, and sea. Let's expand our horizons. So I agree with the thought, the concept, and the mindset. And this is the first party that I've heard, or the first time I would say, of even hearing these kinds of things being suggested as the platform. And definitely, the only way that we're going to be able to get to where we need to go is if we're able to do this on our own without having to check with other people.
Exactly.
Um, you know,
Exactly.
just from a numbers perspective, like I said, on the numbers guy, the Bahamas is on a trajectory, and then even from a historic standpoint, we talked about this on a previous show. How Jamar Schlats, Bahamian people don't know who that is for the most part. But how Jamar Schlats was the financial manager for all the Nazi party or the Nazi
Mm-hmm.
people in Germany. He was Hitler's Nazi minister of economic, I guess, depowerment. He came up with schemes on how to depower or to divest economic wealth from the Jews. Now, Hitler's not the worst individual, and he's not the most prolific killing individual of minorities or individuals. Leopold was, and his rammings in the Congo. But to stay on task here, Hitler is what people synonymize with, or have in their mind synonymous with what is bad, or what is a person that committed mass genocide. So Hajimar Slats was friends with Stafford Sands and the Simonet, Pop Simonet, and he actually came to the Bahamas and crafted a plan. This is all on the internet. This is all out there as far as factual information. Go and look. That how basically after I guess the government was going to turn black or go to the majority black people in the Bahamas at one point in time, he came up with a plan with these individuals to basically re-enslave, to economically re-enslave with Pop Simonet and with Stafford Sands under the guise of what is the tourism, the shining bright tourism bubble, which is what he created. And he crafted Stafford Sands as the father, quotation, quote unquote, of tourism in the Bahamas. But the economic enslavement and disenfranchisement of Bahamian people, which took place through this same thing, was where all the hotels would be owned by either the smaller ruling class or foreigners, which is what we've seen take place. Bahamas owned by foreigners. The Bahamians tried to take it. When this government came in, they gave it back to Sarkis. They gave it to Chinese. Atlantis came in and hasn't paid any tax for almost 25, 30 years in the Bahamas. We could go down the line. Breezes, whatever else it is. There's probably one or two hotels that are owned by Bahamian people. So the process of tourism is not directly affecting or hitting the economic pockets of most Bahamians. Then now, Diagla just introduced a tax to Airbnbs in the Bahamas. So even if you wanted to use your house as a place when the hotels closed down, when it's drastically affected the Bahamian populace, this is what Bahamians are dealing with. So it's just a breath of fresh air to kind of hear someone talk about, ways to re-empower economically the Bahamas and the Bahamian people.
Yeah, and based on the information that I gave you, that ain't even all that the DNA is looking at, because the thing is, like I say, certain things that we got to look into too is manufacturing. Because here's the thing: why don't we have our own toothpaste? You know what I mean? Why don't we have our own deodorant? Why don't we have our own soaps? Simple things like that. These things could be marketed on a global scale.
Yeah.
Correct.
You understand? So this is what the DNA is pushing us, so that we're actually we're actually charting a course for a brighter future for Bahamians, so that they can be independent. Here's the thing. Pardon?
No, continue.
Yeah. So here's the thing. It's like, and this also attests to the whole political scene, because the thing is, what people have to realize is that with a new brand comes new vision.
Yeah.
So it's like, and the thing is, if the PLP and the FNM, if those two parties were interested in that, they had years to
many years. Yes.
Yes, they had years to do it, and the fact of the matter is, they didn't. You can't, and I don't think the Bahamians should allow themselves to be hoodwinked into falling for the trap. Because the thing is, just because the DNA is coming with a new vision for the country, I don't want them to say, oh, okay, we can do that vision too. No, continue with your so-called platform or whatever, because all they do is man it. And if you look at their governance skills, right, you would see, like, okay, certain things happen within the within the global arena, and when they make decisions, they don't make decisions based on their own research. They make decisions based on what another country did, and then they say we have to follow anyway. That is not how we should govern.
No, but that's actually not how anybody should govern, because, and I agree with you 100%, because even when you see orders coming out, you can clearly see that it was copy and pasted from somebody else's site, from somebody else's page, from somebody else's platform. If you live in a hot climate, why are you following the climate guidelines of somebody who lives in a cold climate? And that's what the Bahamas does. So you were speaking on the manufacturing part. That's where I was trying to stick a pin in it. My thought process is, whether it becomes global or not, that would be great, huge. But let's just think of it from taking care of ourself thing first, sustaining ourselves, self-sustenance. If you have toothpaste, toothbrush, toilet paper, deodorant, certain canned goods, right, that are utilized on a regular basis, right? You have your own eggs. You see, because one of the biggest problems with our country is that we import way too damn much, right?
Yes.
So
Exactly.
if we get to the point where the majority of what is being consumed in the Bahamas is made in the Bahamas, You take care of yourself. That means it doesn't matter if there was a COVID, a Rovid, a friggin' doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't matter what you want to
but
label it. Okay, because all these things are just labels. But if it doesn't matter what you want to call it, whatever the situation
but you
is,
know,
we can take care of
right?
ourselves.
But
Yeah.
you know what? But you know what that also assists. That also would assist us with this high cost of living because if we producing our own stuff, then it doesn't need to cost that much to get because we
Exactly.
created it right here.
And
So
and I agree 1,000%. Yes.
On the factual note, the numbers state that the Bahamas is one of the top five most expensive places to
Yes, of
live.
course, yes, and people don't realize that because you have people from around the world coming and saying that they come into we live in paradise. No, 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 no. Y'all coming to
It
visit
ain't
paradise. We don't
paradise
live.
for most people
No,
who live in the
no,
Bahamas.
no. Yes, not paradise for most who live. Okay, because the same rules don't apply to everybody. But
Yeah.
let's move on here. Mr. Nixon, why is maintaining this political glass ceiling so important, and who is it important to?
well, um, here's the thing. And I may mash a few corn by saying this, but you got to understand too. The thing is maintaining this political glass ceiling is and I want you to look at it from the standpoint as there's a lot of feedback. Can you hear me?
Oh, we can hear you. Sorry.
All right. Yeah, I want you to look at it from the standpoint of people who already have certain businesses in place. All right, and so it's like let me give you a prime example, and I'll try to do it without stating any particular business or whatever. You do have businesses here in the Bahamas where people can get into for one, right? And like let's say you have clientele or you have a boat or whatever, and you're trying to get into a certain business. You have what we call gatekeepers, and certain these lobbyists per se, they they are with certain parties or whatever, and these people protect you know um um they protect their people, you know. So it's like once you have your man in power, your business is always protected.
Yes,
All right.
I agree.
So and I'm saying that because the thing is like, okay, let's say you do have a DNA government come in power. All right. Our thing is we looking out for the Bahamas because the thing is, especially in our walkabouts, we realize there's a lot of people not working, and there's a lot of industries that can be tapped into. But like I say, you do have basically the red tape, like as to where you just can't get in. You have the gatekeepers, so that's let's just say that's one of the reasons for a political glass ceiling. You because these people are protecting their business.
I would go a step further. You said that once your party is in power, your business is protected. I would go a step further.
Yeah.
Once you are in a party, it is protected, period. Why? Because both parties that have been in power for however long are the same thing, just a different name. You may have different. You may have some different supporters because you have people who contribute to both parties in reference to their campaigns, right? But when you are in the political arena, certain contracts are drafted in a certain way, and once
Mm-hmm.
those things have been passed, you will realize that it's very rare that the opposing party will challenge it when they come in because they don't
Right.
want their own challenge when they go out.
Interesting point.
Okay, so
Interesting point.
so so so
Right.
it does not matter whether your party is in or not. It matters the level or the status that you hold, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
if you're lower level, lower ranking, the only thing you're going to be getting is some little government contracts in any event. So you
Right.
only can get them when
Right.
your party is in. All right, especially once people know that you are a supporter of another party, so they're going to give it to their
Right.
people who've been campaigning during the election time. But once you have status,
Mm-hmm.
we're talking about big companies. You're talking about the gas stations, the oil businesses, and etc. Okay, there are many areas. But once you reach a certain level, financially and status wise within the party, you're not touched regardless.
Right.
Yeah, brother, we Moscons on this show. We understand it is a political environment, but we'll have grits this morning. We don't care. We gonna go. I'll call names. I will call names. From my experience in politics, as far as studying it, this is my science. This is what I went to school for to learn. This is what I see, and I saw this from afar off when I was studying it. The Bahamas does not have any monopoly legislation. And that is the main thing. There are monopolies that are still existing on the books since before Pinland, really since I said from the time of Haljabar Smarts Schlats, the Simonets, and the what's the name of the other individuals? The quote unquote father of Bahamian tourism, Stafford Sands.
Right.
The same individuals then, Asa H. Pritchett, they all got together, and say, hey, you know what, really confuddle or connect all of the economics relative to the Bahamas and the Caribbean among these specific families.
Yeah.
So that's the first question the old people ask you. Who your peoples? You come to marry my daughter, you come to talk to my son, whoever it would be, who your peoples? Because they want to know where you are economically and stacking. That's first and foremost. Secondly, as far as the monopoly legislation is concerned, the Bahamas is the only place that claims to be an economic independent of having its people's best interests at heart, and they have 99-year agreements. You mentioned the glass ceilings, or you mentioned actually some industries that you cannot get into. Every tugboat that comes in to bring every ship into the Bahamas has been controlled for the last 60, 70 years by one individual in the Bahamas. You have the Arawak Creek Agreement, which was Iraqi. It's controlled by one family. You have
the Hawksbill Creek.
You have the Hawksbill Creek Agreement, which like you said, just for historical relevance, the PLP government or one government glanced over. Just didn't look at this. So when the FNM came in and Hubert Ingram came in, he re-upped this agreement for another period of time. So that economically, every shipping company that brings food in or brings stuff in, which the Bahamas, like you said, Brother Gamba, import and exports, all of that, a percentage of that goes to these families because you're still using their privately held port. This is not Bahamian ports, So, like you said, we some industries that we have to that just needs to be reviewed, But every government doesn't want to look at this.
But the thing about it is this, the system was not designed as you clearly stated. Okay, you explained to them the system was never designed for the citizens to benefit. This is the reason why you come to the Bahamas and you're not eating Bahamian fruits and vegetables inside the hotels.
Oh man, that's crazy.
This is the reason why, as a regular entrepreneur, you're not able to sustain yourself. You have people importing seafood, importing different in the Bahamas. I mean, come on, let's just think about this now. Let's just think about this now.
We're on an island.
Right. We can't.
Surrounded by water.
We've allowed people to take our salt and send it out and sell it back to us. Okay. Same thing with the Aragonite. What we do is we allow people, the system, because the system was designed for one set of people, okay, one race of people to be on top, to monopolize, and the other rest getting the crumbs. So what happened when we changed the guard? It wasn't changing the guard. We changed the color. We changed the face of the guard, but we didn't change the guard. Okay, so that's what it was. So now instead of these people just being workers and slaves and sufferers like the rest of us. They are now the supervisors of the slave masters.
Yeah, Brother Nixon, we know you're pressed for time on this. We're closing near our 45-minute point. But just a few things prior to your exit. Please tell us your experience, if you had any, with trying to bump against this political glass ceiling, which is really an economic glass ceiling, because the first floor of politics is economic attainment and growth. Yeah. And then secondly, tell us about I guess any plans for the changes in the long run. Day one, if you were to do this, then you would go at this relative to the Bahamas.
Well, my experience. Well, for one, as you know, like basically, I'm an entrepreneur in many fields.
Okay.
All right. So to say that I've experienced what others may have experienced, like trying to get government contracts and all these different things.
Yeah.
I can't speak on that behalf, but I do know family members who have basically had a roadblock trying to get into certain arenas.
Yeah.
All right. So but my thing was to always maintain a level of independence within my life.
Right.
So that, because the thing is, if you know the field, if you know how the game is played in the Bahamas, you got to play it well.
Yeah,
all right. So
you do.
my thing was always to be an entrepreneur of sorts, so that I can dictate my own path forward. All right. So that's my thing. My whole personal thing there. However, like I say, and being in the political arena, what I do sense, and what I do feel per se as to where is that being a part of a third party, you are not respected by the other two, obviously.
Right. Right.
Saying that okay, we wanted to do, like if the PLP or the FLM, they wanted to do any sort of thing, pertaining to their political, to do, like if they wanted to have a
rally or some function, right? Yeah,
like a rally or some sort of function or whatever. They get the go ahead, but when the DNA was trying to do it, they cast us aside like we were kids.
Really? Tell us a little bit more about that. Were you there?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, we put in for it. We put in for so that we could have a sort of a rally, and we've already outlined that it was going to be, and people were going to have they were going to stay in their cars, and we were just going to say a few words. We were going to set up a stage for Yawaki, and the thing is, they told us that we couldn't do it. So, but here's the thing.
Under what grounds did they give? Did they give a reason? Well, they didn't even give a reason.
They didn't give no Bible reason. Wow. Because the thing is, they're using the whole COVID situation. But if you're in your cars, if you're in your cars, you're not coming out. You're not walking amongst people or whatever. I don't see.
The reason why I can't see that as you said, a viable reason is because they're doing what they want to do. So why is it that there are different rules for different?
Gentlemen?
Why is that?
Gentlemen, I just found it out. You said it. I'm glad you illuminated on that point. Here's my synopsis, and I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice, okay? But apparently, in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, COVID only is transmitted via the color green. Because if you wear red
or yellow,
or you wear yellow, you have no way of getting it. Like I said, I'm not a doctor.
But hold on, but it seems so, because at the end of the day, COVID only seems to come out after 10 p.m. Or whatever time you decide to set. If you say curfew is 7, COVID can sit and chill until 7 o'clock. Once you're inside your house, and go inside the room. But the bottom line here is that I don't understand why one thing can go for one and not for the next. Okay, question, Mr. Nixon. I think that you were involved in a situation the other day where a few of the DNA members were arrested.
Yes, I was one of the 9 DNA members that was arrested.
Okay, so could you speak to that from start to finish, please?
Yeah, tell us about
If
that,
if if, if
please.
you're allowed to.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, based on their claim, we were arrested for unlawful assembly, and um, based on what happened that day, what we were doing, because you had a lot of people saying that we were not hearing from the DNA, we want to hear more from the DNA. So what all the constituency members did, we were on each like corner per se, just handing out flyers, letting people know that we were there, and basically relaying the people's message. All right, so you have people who are concerned about the whole vaccination situation. You have nurses who are concerned. You have the straw market vendors who are concerned.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So our thing was we went out there. We let them know that we were there. We let them know that we were behind them, and then we met up on Bayarawa Keep, and our thing was to take the message to the government. And so we walked downtown. We walked downtown, displaying our the signs, the message of the people, and we, like I said, we basically just displayed the signs, and we marched to Rosa Square, where the taxi drivers were also staging a protest.
Yeah.
And so therefore that was basically it. Now when we reached by Rosa Square, the thing is, and we were talking to the police officers, but when the police officer said that we needed to go across the street, we went across the street, and of course, if you hear in the news, they basically described it from their own perception, but we was there. I was physically pushed, but as far as I'm concerned, it's all part of it, and all I know is 3 weeks later, we got a letter stating that, okay, we want to see the set of people of the DNA. We complied with the officers. We went to the station, and then when we reached to the station, they let us know that we were arrested. And yeah.
Wow. I was under the impression that this took place on the day of a particular situation. Wow.
So this is premeditated. This is premeditated. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like political. It sounds like political abuse to me. So what happened after that? I mean, what has come out of the situation so far?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. It took us all by surprise. Mm-hmm. Because we thought we were just giving. Yeah, we thought we were just giving statements. You asked us to come in. We came in as you asked, and then they took our phones. But like I said, I will reiterate that the officers, they treated us with respect. They treated us extremely nice. Okay. So it's obvious that they were just carrying out orders. Right. So yeah.
How long were you guys held for?
About 5 hours.
Wow. Shouldn't be 1 minute. It should not be 1 minute.
Okay, and so after this 5 hours and y'all were released, what happened now? What is the status? Well, still under investigation.
I think it's still under investigation. So I mean, it is what it is. It happened, unfortunately, but I mean, it all comes part with when you're trying to bring change to a country, of course these things will happen. Yeah. You will have some pushback. So it's not that it wasn't expected at some point.
What is so annoying? What is always so annoying to me is that people who have been involved in struggle or descend from an arena where struggle was a big part of it, when they get in power, they now turn around and want to to want to be the oppressor.
They will close
Before,
that door.
yeah,
Yeah.
but this is the thing, okay? Before the trader became a senator, and he was dealing with the Remart situation,
I just was about to say.
right? Here comes Hubert Ingram marching with them. Not Hubert Ingram, sorry, Hubert Minnis marching with them, right? So
Yeah.
nobody harassed them, nobody arrested them.
Nope.
So why is it that now, because they're out there, videos were there with PLP and F&M especially, with a huge amount of people, mask or no mask, you're supposed to be social distancing, not one person was 6 feet apart. Y'all were out there in far more numbers that have been mandated by the executive orders. Nothing came out of that. You defended that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But nobody else can do it. Why? Because you name F&M and you put the title of competent authority to your name. This is how we feel.
Again.
Well, and
Again, I'm saddened. I'm saddened to hear this because, like I said, I'm not a doctor. Maybe he's a doctor. Maybe he knows something we don't know. That the green makes the color all of a sudden makes the COVID go crazy. I don't know.
Well,
You know?
I never heard it being announced by the CDC, but then there are a lot of things
Right.
that
Yeah, Dr.
they've
Fauci
said-
didn't say that.
But there are a lot of things that they've said that has been proven to be grossly incorrect. So I only can take what they say with a grain of salt. In any event, yes, we do have a doctor who is currently the prime minister, but virology is definitely not his field. So
Right, right.
I don't know what he know. I guess someone might have told him something, but they should have put that in the newspaper so everyone would have been aware. You know,
Right. Right. Why are they holding it
if
to
you
make?
wear yellow or red, you'll be protected from COVID. Maybe they should have done that. Maybe in my opinion, I don't know. Maybe it should have been a national announcement. I don't know.
Right. Brother Nixon, tell us anything else, please. Let us know a little bit more. Yeah, that's grossly unfair. But let us know a little bit more about wow, just the plans of yourself and the party moving forward.
Well, let me just put it like this. I'll put it in an analogy, and then I have to go. I'll put it like this. Whenever you see, and what the DNA comes to do, at least, and based on the people that I've met, based on the people that I know, our intentions are, to assist Bahamians in becoming entrepreneurs. So our thing is, because the thing is that's where it is. It's like we don't want you, because the thing is, if you're the fact of the matter is, COVID and Dorian has exposed how dire the situation is.
Yeah. Correct.
All right. So our thing is we need a proper solution. We need, and this is why our slogan is change that makes sense. Because we can't just say, okay, we're going to bring change, and it don't make no sense. So our thing is, and to speak on the whole, to revert back to the whole political ceiling or whatever. Here's what the DNA position is. It's like, let's say you're on a highway and your car is stalled, right? And you need help taking this car off. One of the first things that needs to happen in order for us to move this car is first you need to put that car in neutral.
Right.
All right. All right. What I mean by that is we need you to come with an open mind so that we can both move this car together.
Gotcha.
Right.
All right.
All right. So I could help the DNA. We come to help, but we need the Bahamian people to come with an open mind and let us move this car together, because change can't just happen with words. Change, we need everybody at the helm pushing this thing.
Right.
Agreed and
Right.
understood.
Right. Brother Lamont Nixon, the DNA candidate for Golden Gates in this upcoming Bahamian election. We first of all want to say thank you for joining us, taking time in your busy schedule. Appreciate you being on our platform here, the Humblest Opinion. First of all, good luck and good success. And more importantly, we appreciate you standing up, you and your party, and even, bipartisanship, because we had some other people supposedly from other parties that joined you, but we just use this platform as an advocacy point for freedom of speech and freedom of expression. And we appreciate you guys standing up for that, and of course pushing that opinion, because there's no way in no country that is just two opinions. It's just one party and one the other. So we thank you for presenting that, and we wish you all good success. For those of you that are listening in or tuning in here, we open our platform to come and speak on any of the issues or ideas. If you heard something here you didn't like, please send one of your representatives. Some of you only see your constituency person in a long time, but that's fine. Find him
Some
or her.
not since election.
Right.
Some even before
Not since
election. But anyhow.
Some don't even live in the Bahamas anymore, but that's cool. Maybe you should focus on some of the people that are coming around to you that actually care. Exactly. But that's another story. Yeah. But if you was to find an individual, send that individual to us. This is the Humblest Opinion. Myself, Tony Bahama, Malik Adikamba, and of course, thank you again to our guest here. Please, we open this up as a non-partisan, bipartisan platform to come and speak your opinions and ideas. And we thank Brother Lamont Nixon. Wish him good success in this upcoming election.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. This has been the Humblest Opinion. We have myself, Tony Bahama, and Malik Adikamba. Thank you for joining us. Tune in next time.
You all ready? Yes, the mic is on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
See my face still.
Ready?
I'll put it back up.
Morning, how you doing?
Good morning, how are you?
Everything is good, thanks. You came out to show your support this morning?
Well, I would have been here earlier, but I just flew in from Exuma. And I'm here to support my daughter. Yes, that's my second born, so I'm here.
What was your reaction to the news when you heard about it?
As a mother, very upset. We want to know who is behind it, why. After 3 weeks and a couple of days, we had a V-March about 2 or 3 years ago, just before the election. And Mr. Hanfield couldn't get a permit. But Mr. Minnis walked side on side with him on that V-March. Why wasn't Mr. Minnis arrested? Did the Constitution in the Bahamas change? Do we no longer have a Constitution? Do you, as a Bahamian, do you no longer have a right? And if they wanted to do something, why wasn't it done 3 weeks ago? And why would you mislead a person in saying that you come out here just for me to ask you a question and then arrest her? She's a mother. What's she supposed to do? What is she supposed to say to our children? Are we trying to silence her? Is Minnis that scared of a little young lady who's going to become the next prime minister of this country? What's frightening?
Let it be go. See, there we go. I know destination, you never been there before. Oh, no reservation, come on, let's go and explore. If you never know